what the QLA model actually is. So to everyone who's not aware of what this is, you've got magical numbers, people making lots and lots of money relatively quickly. That's how do they do it? It's the same way.
I do. It's. In fact, I was in my preparation for being here. Even though I know I can write Andrew Carnegie's stuff by memory, he had 4 successes, 4 secrets to success. Andrew Carnegie, he wrote these about 110 years ago. And in my judgment, the greatest entrepreneur that ever lived, the greatest mover and shaker that ever lived, and comes from right down the road from Guthrie Castle, where I live, in Dunfermline. Number 1, financial motive must prevail. Okay? Now, I know that's not politically correct now, and a lot of people don't want to hear that. Hi. But what he was doing is he said financial motive must prevail so he could have more choices. As you well know, or you should know, he gave all his money away or died trying when he got at the end of his life cycle. We do it, and he did it the same way I did it, the same way Sloan did it at General Motors. It's by rolling up fragmented industries. In other words, seeing an industry in chaos and looking for low-hanging fruit, and then acquiring through roll-up, through acquisition, bundling up, making good management decisions, employing good management techniques, and then selling on to an industry giant and or taking it public through a flotation. The AIM exchange in this country was brought to bear 20 years ago for that very reason, to have cottage industries an opportunity to be floated, to be sold off. And very simply, you buy mom and pops at 5, 6, 7, 8 times earnings. And for those of you that you don't have to be business students, it's after-tax earnings, and you float them at 15 or 20 times earnings. And you create a spread, you create an arbitrage of some 10 or 15, and you get fucking rich. People have been doing it for 150 years. 150 years. Why everybody doesn't do it, I have no idea. All I know is I've been doing it 45 years on my own and 23 years with you kids, and I've been able to create what I have. People often ask, and one of the questions you might ask, Dan, why did you stop doing it for yourself? It's a damn good question, and I'm about to answer for about the 90 millionth time, because I found it easy going from 820 to 450 million. It wasn't much fun. I bought up 40, 50 companies. At the time I was doing it, how come nobody else is doing this? I took it public on my 39th birthday. I crystallized it. I made it real. And then I did it 30, 40 more times until I left in 1992. And what's even a better story, when I did it, I took an option public. For the first time in the history of the world, I took something I didn't own public. It's like having an option on a piece of property or having an option on a house. But I floated it. And when we went to the takeover panel in the Bank of England, and they said no, and we asked why not, and they scratched their Oxford heads and said, we don't know. It just hasn't ever been done before. And a genius kid named Jeremy Knight put together a structure, and we were able to float. So not only, and so I took something I didn't own public. You can't do that anymore because they've changed the law subsequently. But that's what, we roll up fragmented industries, and we look for somebody that started a car dealership 30 years ago. They're now 60 years old. Their kids don't want to have anything to do with a dealership. I'm just using dealerships because they're very fragmented. We buy it from them, and we buy it from 15 or 20 other people that are also motivated sellers. We roll them up together, and we sell to. There's a company called Otto. They're a public company that roll up car dealerships. I can't think of the name now. Or we sell to an industry dealer or industry player. Who buys these things if you can't take them public? Pension funds, annuities, all the time. Now private equity funds, hedge funds. And one of the great myths in life that there's no money out there, that's the biggest lie. I can think of some other lies that have sexual connotations. Maybe some of you guys can think of them. But it's a lie that there's no money out there. We have never been more flush with money in our history. I keep thinking interest rates are going to go up, but they don't go up. Kids, you're going to look back 10, 20 years from now, and you're going to see that you should commit suicide for not taking advantage of the goddamn low interest rates we've had the last 5, 7, 8 years. You're going to look back and say, God, Allah, Buddha, what the fuck did I do wrong? But see, guys like me know that. I'm not going to have any regret about that. Lord Sugar's not going to have any regret about that. None of the icons that you read about every day are going to have any regret about that because they're borrowing money like stealing from a bank. I mean, they're walking into banks without a mask and without a gun. And you're sitting where? Where are you sitting? You decided to take another elective course. And for the old gits in the audience that I can see now, well, I don't know what the hell you're doing. I don't know what the hell you're doing.